No occupation is so delightful to me as the culture of the earth, and no culture comparable to that of the garden. I never considered the difference of opinion in politics, in religion, in philosophy, as cause for withdrawing from a friend. The tree of liberty must be refreshed from time to time with the blood of patriots and tyrants. In matters of style, swim with the current. In matters of principle, stand like a rock. The care of human life and happiness, and not their destruction, is the first and only object of good government. I'm a greater believer in luck, and I find the harder I work the more I have of it. I would rather be exposed to the inconveniences attending too much liberty than to those attending too small a degree of it. Our civil rights have no dependence on our religious opinions, any more than our opinions in physics or geometry. Nothing gives one person so much advantage over another as to remain always cool and unruffled under all circumstances. If a nation expects to be ignorant and free in a state of civilization, it expects what never was and never will be. All should be laid open to you, without reserve, for there is not a truth existing which I fear, or would wish unknown to the whole world. The equal rights of man, and the happiness of every individual, are now acknowledged to be the only legitimate objects of government. I think one travels more usefully when they travel alone, because they reflect more. I was bold in the pursuit of knowledge, never fearing to follow truth and reason to whatever results they led. There is nothing more unequal than the equal treatment of unequal people. All should be laid open to you, without reserve, for there is not a truth existing which I fear, or would wish unknown to the whole world. If you want something you've never had, you must be willing to do something you've never done. To compel a man to furnish funds for the propagation of ideas he disbelieves and abhors is sinful and tyrannical. How little do my countrymen know what precious blessings they are in possession of, and which no other people on earth enjoy. Every day is lost in which we do not learn something useful. Man has no nobler or more valuable possession than time. The will of the people is the only legitimate foundation of any government, and to protect its free expression should be our first object. Our liberty depends on the freedom of the press, and that cannot be limited without being lost. Peace, commerce, and honest friendship with all nations, entangling alliances with none. He who knows nothing is closer to the truth than he whose mind is filled with falsehoods and errors. Enlighten the people generally, and tyranny and oppressions of the body and mind will vanish like evil spirits at the dawn of day. Every human being must be viewed according to what it is good for not one of us, no, not one, is perfect, and were we to love none who had imperfection, this world would be a desert for our love. He who receives an idea from me receives instruction himself. without lessening mine, as he who lights his taper at mine receives light without darkening me. When governments fear the people, there is liberty. When the people fear the government, there is tyranny. Determined never to be idle, no person will have occasion to complain of the want of time, who never loses any. It is wonderful how much may be done if we are always doing. I sincerely believe that banking establishments are more dangerous than standing armies, and that the principle of spending money to be paid by posterity under the name of funding is but swindling futurity on a large scale.